I'm Ben.
And I'm Sam.
This is Counterfeit Christianity. And right now we want to talk about this idea of mindset versus heart set. We had a conversation, it might have been yesterday or the day before, but it was like, yeah, what does that actually mean? It just sort of popped up. But we have talked about mind over heart over mind in the past. We don't want to have, I heard it somewhere, but you can never be a great man if you're more mind than heart. I think it's in a John Eldridge book or something, but it's like, and that really stuck with me. And I'm like, oh, that's so true, because we believe that the way you connect with God is with your heart, and your mind is how you deal with the world. But your mind can also fuck you over, because it's like it gets sucked into the world.
Worldly religion always teaches you to try and access the divine with your mind.
Yeah, and that's what Christianity is all about, isn't it? Yeah. Read the Bible, learn what it says, know some stuff, and then do more, and then God will be happy. Yeah, and it's
funny though, because the book itself is pretty consistent in the stories about heart being more important than mind.
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, look at David.
How did they do that to us? How did they trick us? Like, it says the opposite in the words that are in the book, but it's the opposite that comes out of it. Like, people live the opposite of what it says. It's super weird. How did that happen? It's obviously the demons did it.
Demonic cleverness.
Yeah. I guess, what do you say?
The best lie is one mixed with truth.
Yeah.
Jesus says that too.
Right.
You know, might be paraphrasing slightly.
But it's so true.
He best example I think is probably with the field. He's like, the field's been sowed with wheat, but the enemy has come and put weeds in it in the night. And the guy's like, oh, we need to turn up the field. He's like, but then you lose everything.
Yep.
So we need to wait and see what grows, and then see what the fruit is from that. Mm-hmm. So you can see what the fruit comes from people who are of the mind. There's misery, legalism, financial slavery, spiritual slavery. You know, whereas when you do things by the heart, the world often despises you. Yeah. David was a guy of the heart, right? Yep. Multiple times. Look at Goliath. They're like, there's no way. Everyone's like, there's no way we can beat this guy. Like, look at him. He's huge. And then this farm boy, this short, ruddy, handsome farm boy, as he's described as, just walks up and he's like, what the hell is wrong with all you guys? How dare this heathen Philistine stand before the armies of the living God and speak that way? Mm-hmm. And just went out and ended him. And then they tried to convince him with his mind as well that he needed to wear the armor. And he's like, oh, I don't feel right in this.
That's what Christianity is, isn't it? They're saying, put on this shit armor.
That's a great correlation.
Yeah,
you're right. Actually.
Instead of being with God, he's like, I'm with God.
Put on the armor of the mind that we give you, and then your heart can't function. That's a way.
Christianity is Saul's armor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, that'd make a great podcast. Pity we're not like Christian pastors. We could literally do a podcast like that and millions of adulating Christians would be like, ah!
Yeah, except they couldn't say Christianity. They would have to say something else. Like, the world is like...
That's not the only example either.
No,
like, look at when he came back with... he's dancing in the streets, and Micah, Saul's daughter, who was supposed to be his wife, she's like, despises him. Like, oh, you're acting like a commoner, you're dancing around like a fool. It's like, he was just expressing what's in his heart, you know? And then God's like, yeah, you're not breeding.
You don't want to pass that on. Yeah. That correlates with the idea of why God possibly might have wiped out civilizations in the past, because they were so evil. He did it to one person as well with David's wife. He's like, yeah, you're not having anything. Piss off, bitch.
We're not letting you reproduce. That's a privilege. Yeah. I think people forget that creating another life and having another being is a pretty extreme privilege.
Yeah, it is. This world makes it like it's a nothing thing.
It's a burden.
Yeah, and it's
Kill
like...
it.
Yeah, well, that too. But then the idea that you need to work to that's the only way you can support your family. Work really, really hard so you can give them all the things that they need. But then
they never have you.
They don't have you. Yeah. And that's the curse. That's the actual curse. If you have a family,
well, I mean, the reason we exist is to enjoy each other's company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not to work, not to make money, not to be successful.
And that's another connection with heart.
Successful people always regret their success when it takes them away from the people that they have.
Yeah. And that's like
all of them.
Yeah.
The richest ones, most of all.
And that's another connection with mindset versus heart set, because you put your mind, to do something on your own, you really have to set your mind on it. Otherwise, you can't do it. It doesn't work. If you want to make something, just say I wanted to be a millionaire when I was a billionaire now. A million's not too much anymore. A billionaire. I probably could do it if I put my mind on it, learned as much as I could, like left my family behind in the dust, and then pushed really, really hard.
If you killed your own heart.
Yeah, killed my own heart. I could probably do it. But then, like, I'd rather just set my heart with God, and then He will give me everything good from that. Not that it's going to be a billionaire. I really don't want that. But it's like I want to set my heart with Him, and I want to react by. Well, instead of in the past, I'd react with anger because anger is connected to fear, and then
because you'd had other situations in your life where this had happened before, and your mind tells you, because your mind builds defenses, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this has happened to you before. Some crazy person tried to scream at you in the street. You have to scream back, or you have to deck them, or
whatever.
You have to run them over with your car. You know, whatever your
we'll have different things.
Whatever your reaction is, but I think what you were saying the other day is you want to always, and this is what you're doing now, is you always want to react with God and react how He would want you to react. So it's not about what your mind tells you should do out of fear, but
or even try and figure out what He would do.
Yeah, like, having God in your heart at the time to be there with you to manage the situation.
Yeah.
You know,
and that blocks my worldly reaction, and it becomes Him.
Well,
and I become Him. Yeah.
Well, that becomes a heart set.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. And it's only like a bit of a word that sort of makes sense. Not mindset, but heart set.
We've made it up.
Yeah. It's just like all it is meaning the same thing we always say. It's just like be with God, and good things come of that. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we've said it a lot, but like God connects with you in your heart, and if you have no connection to that, and the actual, like you said it before, like the Christian church tells you that the heart is evil and that it's actually not good, but that's a lie because they're owned by Baal. You know, it's pretty cool. But yeah,
well, if someone has heart, they'll probably do to them what people did to David. Like the different noises between religion, this presence that keeps talking to me and influencing me.
Yeah.
Wait, this is bad. This is good. Good stuff comes out of this. This is shit. And then as the further you go along, you're like, this is me now.
Yeah.
This is my God. Yeah. This is the God who is actually behind all the stuff in the Bible, but didn't change it and adjust it and try and manipulate people for the last 2,000 years to do all this stuff. You know, He's actually legit. You need to separate Him from them because they're trash.
Yeah, it's
they're Satan's trash. They're Baal's trash. They're Ishtar's trash. They're Moloch's trash.
Yeah.
The Christians are the trash.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things I've come to recently is like trying to, in my own understanding of it, it's like actually the things that
they're the enemy of God on earth.
The Christian,
they're the ones who undermine Him and put out a bad view of Him to everyone.
It's not that it's like what Christians or what separate churches do that's bad. It's actually Christianity as a whole that's bad.
Yeah,
I've been able to understand that and say it recently. I've said it in a few videos.
Well, people have been told that if they say that they're done.
Yeah,
they're going to hell. But it's not true.
But we are told a lot to make plans, figure everything out. If you figure it out and do a really, really good plan, then something good might come of that.
Except God says, a man makes his plans, but only God knows what's really going to happen.
Yeah, right. And it's like that's what true faith is. It's like being with God and being okay with whatever happens, and that's what faith is.
Yeah.
But a lot of Christians,
God doesn't promise you perfect outcomes. He promises you that He'll always be there for you.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah, but Christians want to know the answer. But He doesn't give answers like that.
But then that gives them the opportunity to get upset at God too and go, well, I expected X, Y, Z, and God,
He's like, that's your plan,
and then God's saying, well, that didn't come from me, but they can't even hear Him.
Yeah,
it's like He's like, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. A lot of people get angry at God, and that's the reason why.
I feel that there's this overarching. I feel like there's large-scale psychological games that are played on the human race as a whole.
Yep.
And one of them is the blaming of God for everything. So you have this system...
Even the ones who don't believe in Him.
Well, the system sort of from the demons sort of simultaneously mocks God's existence, that He's not real.
And then blames Him for everything.
But then on the other hand, blames Him for everything. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a dichotomy.
Because it proves that they even believe in Him. Everybody does.
I mean, who talks about God more than an atheist does? Yeah. Atheists don't shut up about God. Yeah. It's like...
It's funny because a lot of atheists get that way because they hate Christianity. And that's fair.
I find a lot of atheists easy to talk to or listen to because they're not... Well, they can be a ideologue for their religion, which is like an anti-religion, but it's the same shit.
Yeah.
It is. It's like the people who are like, I believe in Darwin and evolution and stuff. It's like, great, that's your religion. Huh? It's like, no, it's not religion, it's science. I'm like, you can't just use science as a catch-all term to justify everything you say without any sort of evidence. That's what people use the word, ironically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Massive irony, because science is the idea of observing, cataloguing results, and then being able to make measurable changes and observations and.
Well, what's more obvious that science is a religion of what happened in the last few years? It's like they say, this is science, do it. And they're like, well, tell us why. And I'm like, no, we are scientists, do it.
Yeah, but how does it work? Can you break it up for us? Show us the details?
No, shut up.
Science! It's like that's
You don't believe in
it's
science?
exactly when people are saying science, you believe in the science, or you're just a cooker. It's the exact way of saying, oh, you're a heretic. Oh, you don't believe in God? Fine, you're going to hell.
Exactly.
It's the exact same shit, just different words.
Yeah. So whatever system you choose to lean on, that's like believing in the mind, and the only way to be separated from that is to be with the heart and connect with God with that.
Well, most people's hearts are dead.
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
You can't even connect until God has woken it up.
Well, our hearts have been, as human beings, that's the tactic they use against us, is to destroy the heart. So they don't feel it. There's no relationships in your life. Everything's shit. Everyone's angry. Everyone's fighting. Like, I went to Costco the other day with
People
our
don't
friends.
even need the meaning of life
Yeah,
anymore.
and I felt that. I was in Costco. I'm like, shit. Everyone. It's like there's 1,000 people in here, but it's crazy because everyone's for themselves. There is no heart in this, and it's just an example of what this world has become. A big thing like that, where there's heaps of humanity,
people used
but
to
there's
live
no
in
humans.
these small groups, like a couple hundred people or 50 people or something. And these days, you live in these massive cities where there's millions of people around you, but you're also separated by your four walls.
Yeah. And people are angrier.
Yeah.
Connect with your heart. I know it's hard, but it's like, just start. The easiest way is just, for me, is just to start.
God.
Just start talking to God. Just start trying to talk to Him, and then He'll start
God
responding.
says He will answer anyone who earnestly seeks Him.
Yep.
So if you start talking to God and going, how do I activate my heart?
And whatever you understand that to be.
Where do I even start? He will listen. He will hear you. And you just have to be prepared to be on a long journey. He might take 20 years to show you.
Yeah, until you can block out all the shit.
Or you might take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. But you just need to be open and listen for that still small voice. And remember that at the end of the day, the heart is all about other people.
That's what it means to be human.
It's all about it's love. Mm-hmm. It's relationship.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
And if you start from that foundation, I think you'll find what you need.
Yeah. So lose the mindset. Get a heart with God. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
See ya.